Shalom Yasharella. This is Yeshaya, back at it. Trying for the third time to make this video. You know, like I said, man. I said in the other attempt that I've since deleted, I make a lot of videos. I just don't get to upload all of them because sometimes I have to, I look over the video and it might be one thing I said that might throw off the whole video. And I'm a very harsh critic. I don't believe in just putting out material, just saying things, blurting out things, and sometimes I might say something that might get misconstrued, and it's a lot of responsibility on me. I'm not going to say pressure, because I basically asked for this, being in this truth as long as I've been. And it's being in the truth as long as I've been is added responsibility. It doesn't give me any cool points. It doesn't make me no better than nobody. It just makes me more responsible to convey the right message. So if y'all don't see a lot of videos from me, that's 90% of it. No, I won't even say 90. About really maybe 40%. The other part of why you don't see a lot of videos from me is what's going on today, which is I got this hotline bling situation. I get calls all day from my job, and I can't not answer my phone. But I've come to realize that at least 75% of the calls that come into my phone as phone calls could have just been texted. But that's part of what I deal with, and why I might be 20 minutes into a video that I think is going to be great and going to bring out a lot, and then it's cut short because somebody called me with something that they could have just texted me about. But I'm not complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? All things are of the Lord. The Lord controlled the worker to call me, or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes it's a wrong fucking number. What I don't want to do is have a segment of the video where I'm talking to the worker and then return to do the video. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how to splice or to put videos together like that with this phone. So nonetheless, no further ado, let me continue, Lord willing, in the spirit. I want to discuss polygamy. Man, I went through some points that I think are great points the first two times. But just, going over polygamy, because a lot of times we don't understand what polygamy is. We think polygamy is just the sex. We think polygamy is only advantageous to men. And these things are all wrong. In reality, we have to get the understanding that we are a people from the Middle East. We have to get this America out of our minds. We are not Americans. We were brought here. People like myself, I came here on a boat at 7 months. But for the most part, Western culture preaches one man, one woman. Now, legally, I can smash 100 women. But also legally, a man can smash 100 men. But you can only marry one partner. Which, you're supposed to marry a woman, right? A man is supposed to marry a woman or women. But we have other deviations of God's original plan. And I say God because I'm not talking to you brothers that know the faith, know the truth. I'm talking to you brothers, really, and sisters that are out there searching for what's the right way to serve God. So, in a polygamy sense, right? Where we look at it, the first thing and the automatic thing we look at is sex. And we have to understand, a couple doesn't spend their lives just having sex. There's much more to a marriage than sex. But the only thing that we focus on is sex. Now, women look at men when considering polygamy and say, oh, he's going to be fucking all the women he wants. It's advantageous to him. Men look at, and this is true, men look at women, because women want to do whatever men do, right? Women want to have polygamous relations. Their whole thing is either we're going to be polyamorous or we're not going to do polygamy. But you, as a man, are not going to be the only one having multiple partners. So here's the thing. We have to understand the actual functions of polygamy. First and foremost, there's 7 women to every 1 man, which means by American law, 6 women are going to be either lonely or they're just going to be fucking or they're going to be lesbians. By American law. Scriptures takes care of women. Believe it or not, a lot of people think that the scriptures give a man so many perks. In reality, it gives a man a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, I could have sex with multiple women, but here's what us as men dealing with polygamy have to understand. Sex doesn't just, I could smash multiple women, but now I'm responsible for taking care of all these women I'm smashing. So now the thing becomes, okay, now this one needs money for her child, this one needs money for this, and it's not just money, it's time. And it's a lot of different things that go into a relate. You have to actually have a full relationship with multiple women. If you deal with polygamy. Now, which, just by population alone, you can tell how God intended polygamy to work. Because, like I said, for every 1 man, there's at least 7 women in the world. And on top of that, you add the curses, which lower how many eligible men there are to have women. Because you got a lot of brothers that are locked up. You got a lot of brothers that, are fruity. And then you got a lot of men that want to live a player lifestyle. So you have a lot of different components that are skewing the numbers out of women's favor to find a good male mate. Now, when you're dealing with the scriptures, it is totally unacceptable. Homosexuality is totally unacceptable, and women sleeping around is unacceptable. But also, one thing that we never discuss is men sleeping around is unacceptable. Because the scriptures also talk about men being whoremongers. And what is the spirit of a whoremonger? A nigga with his dick in his hands, trying to stick it in every hole he can. That's not proper either. Polygamy adds responsibility to a man. It's not just I get to fuck whoever I want, because that's not the case either. Polygamy, if done properly, is a responsibility on a man. And the only perk he gets out of it is, he gets a variety in, sexual partners. But it's not that type of variety where he gets whatever the fuck he wants either. Because every time he fucks a new sexual partner, he is responsible for that sexual partner. But if done properly, let's say I have 2-3 wives. Let's say I have 3 wives. I'm talking to one female right now, and say I have 2 others. That's not only a variety in sexual partners, that's a variety in cuisine. That's a variety, that's 3-4 people that can help, with house responsibilities, incomes, a lot of different things, resources. babysitting, you name it, polygamy can fix it if done properly. You know, not because a nigga's horny, he wants to fuck a new woman. You know, because that's the part that we focus on wrongfully when dealing with the question of polygamy. We always tell our men as Israelites, you can have multiple wives according to scripture. But what we don't tell them is you are responsible for every single woman that you smash according to scripture. We tell them, yeah, you can fuck, but we don't tell them, but now you have to take care of this woman. This woman has your DNA inside of her. You know, you have to make it work. You can't just fucking break up at will with this woman just because you don't like her. Because if we deal with that question, we deal with that issue, and we're clear about that, we have to educate our young men that's out there teaching that this is the proper way to do things. There's an order to these things. It's not just, oh, I fuck a bitch and she's my wife. I mean, it is. You are one flesh, but are you one flesh? Are you on one accord? You know, and that's the proper understanding of polygamy and how it can be used as a practical means to fix problems that we have now in today's society. You know, and the understanding that it's not about a nut, because that's what women and men look at it as. You know, why is it that women can't have multiple men? Well, they can't have multiple men, at least according to scripture, if they want to do it the right way, because of that. Because when a man ejaculates into a woman, you know, he's putting his spirit, his DNA into her, right? And what happens is a chemical reaction is occurring in the woman's body, which is bonding her DNA with his. Her body literally changes. So let's say she has one sexual partner, then another, then another, then another, or she gets a train ran on her. There's a whole bunch of different spirits and different, her body is conforming to the DNA of different men. And it's confusion. Also, another thing that I want y'all to understand is that men have an external sexual organ where women have an internal. So women internalize sex where men don't as much. You know, you look at it like this. I'm putting myself into your world as a woman. You know? So it makes a woman bond more, because I'm not receiving anything. I'm giving, you know, I don't want to sound gauche, but I'm giving her the rod, and I'm also giving her my seed. You know what I mean? I'm not getting anything other than, you know, the pleasure that, you know, we get with sex. But that's you know, the biological part of you know, a marriage. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to a man is physically able to and emotionally equipped to deal with multiple women, where women not so much. Not so much. And a lot of times you see the women that are more whorish, you see the kind of like the insanity, because their body, like I said, molds to all the sexual partners. And nowadays you're dealing with women that, and this is not to criminalize or shit on women. Men, you know, women are only going to fuck a man that wants to fuck them. 9 times out of 10, you never hear about a woman raping a man. You know, if you do, it's super rare, and it's probably took some type of drugs or something. And usually when a woman drugs a man, it's not for sex. It's usually for fucking to rob him, like Cardi B. But you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, like I said, if you get the proper understanding on what adultery, I mean, well, adultery is when a man and woman break that marriage vow. right? If a woman belongs to a man, because that's why the woman takes the man's last name. Just to give an example, right? A woman, let's say her last name is Jackson, right? And I marry her. Her last name is supposed to become Montana. So the way it works is Jackson is supposed to represent her father's house, her father's authority, her father's everything. So let's say her name is Tiffany, because that's the girl's name I'm talking to, Tiffany. I know her last name ain't Jackson. But right now, let's say Tiffany's last name is Jackson, because Jackson is the house that she belongs to, her father. They have a whole coat of arms and a symbol that represents the Jackson family, right? Then she marries me, or I marry her rather, and then she transfers from the house of Jackson to the house of Montana. So what that does is it's literally a transference of authority, right? She's under her father, now she's under me. Hence why she has to change her last name, because now she's representing me. She's no longer a Jackson. She's a Montana now. So now the values and morals and the culture, so to speak, of what she has to deal with is my culture. And I don't mean as far as tribe or me being Cuban, so-called. My culture meaning what my family, what the Montana family stands for, is now her responsibility to represent. So that's the way marriage and polygamy work. I managed to, explain it while I was driving. Didn't pull any scriptures, but honestly, a lot of y'all aren't going to be curious about the scriptures, but, we can go over the scriptures on it. I just kind of have to do some work-related stuff and hope that I don't get a call before this video ends. But with that, anybody has any questions, anybody wants scriptures, they can easily be provided when I have more time. Shalom.